Wait, if you're thinking about buying a home in 2026, stop right there. Watch this video first, because today I'm going to tell you something that no real estate agent will ever tell you. The median home price right now is over $420,000. Mortgage rates are sitting between 6.5% to 7%, and that means your monthly payment, just principal and interest, is going to be somewhere around $3,000. So the question is buying a home in 2026 a smart move, or the biggest financial mistake you'll make this decade? Let's find out with real numbers. Welcome back. On this channel, we talk about real personal finance. No fluff, no filler, just the stuff that actually matters. Now, you've probably heard this your whole life. Stop throwing money away on rent, buy a home. But does that advice still hold up in 2026? Because the market today looks completely different from what it was even 3 years ago. So today we're going to look at both sides. Facts only, no opinions. Let's start with the case against buying right now. And honestly, there are some strong arguments here. First, interest rates. When rates are between 6 and 7%, a $400,000 home ends up costing you way more than $400,000. Over 30 years, you could easily pay $700,000 or more in total, just because of interest. Let that sink in for a second. Second, home prices are still near all-time highs. So you're not just paying high interest, you're also buying at a high price. That's a double hit. Third, hidden costs. Most people only think about the mortgage, but there's property tax, there's home insurance, and then there's maintenance, which averages 1 to 2% of your home's value every single year. On a $400,000 home, that's $4,000 to $8,000 extra every year, just to keep the lights on and the roof from leaking. And fourth, an opportunity cost. That down payment, those closing costs. If you had put that same money into the S&P 500, historically you would have seen significantly higher returns over the same period. So yeah, the case against buying is real. But here's where it gets interesting, because the case for buying is also strong. Let's talk about rent first. People say rent is throwing money away, but rent isn't safe either. Rents across the country have been rising every single year. Your landlord can raise your rent, sell the property, or ask you to leave. At least with a fixed rate mortgage, your payment stays the same for 30 years. That's actually a powerful hedge against inflation. Then there's equity. Every mortgage payment you make builds ownership. After 10 years, you could have $80,000 or more in equity, money that belongs to you. When you rent, every dollar goes to your landlord's pocket, not yours. Tax benefits are real too. The mortgage interest deduction can lower your taxable income, which means you keep more of what you earn. Renters don't get that. And finally, stability. A home isn't just a financial asset. It's where your kids go to school. It's your community. It's your roots. And that has real value that doesn't show up on a spreadsheet. Now let's look at the actual math, because this is where most people get it wrong. Say you're looking at a $400,000 home. Your monthly mortgage payment is around $3,000. After 10 years, you've built roughly $80,000 in equity. Now compare that to renting a similar place for around $1,900 a month. Over 10 years, you've paid out well over $200,000 in rent. Equity built, zero. So buying wins, right? Not so fast. It depends on one thing: how long you're going to stay. Studies show the break-even point for buying versus renting is typically around 6 to 7 years. That means if you sell before 6 years, buying usually costs you more than renting would have. But if you stay 7 years or longer, buying almost always comes out ahead financially. So now the real question: should you buy in 2026? Here's who should buy. If you have a 20% down payment ready, if your credit score is 720 or above, if you're planning to stay in the same place for at least 7 years, and if your debt-to-income ratio is below 36%, then yes, buying in 2026 makes sense for you. Here's who should wait. If you don't have a solid emergency fund, if your job situation is uncertain, or you're thinking about switching careers, if there's a chance